My 5-step Become Extraordinary framework is something that I put together after spending the last 10 years in entrepreneurship and really immersing myself into personal growth, learning from some of the best in the world. And I started to notice that there are patterns that lead to success and patterns that lead to failure. So my 5-step Become Extraordinary framework, this is what I use to coach all of my clients, whether it's one-on-one clients or in my mastermind. And so here's the 5 steps. Step number 1 is clarity. Step number 2 is commitment. Step number 3 is coaching. Step number 4 is courageous action. And step 5 is course correction. So clarity, you have to be clear on, first of all, where are you starting from and where do you want to go? What is your vision for your life? What are your goals? And you need to run your goals through the SMART filter. Make sure they are specific. Make sure they're measurable. Make sure that they're aligned with your vision and your values. Make sure that it's realistic and make sure that it's time-based. And commitment, if you're not committed to your goals, there's always going to be obstacles that come up. If you have a big vision and big goals in your life, there's going to be obstacles that come up. So you need that commitment. That is the fuel that is going to get you through that. So there's 3 parts to commitment. Part number 1 is leverage. So there's only 2 reasons that anybody does anything. It's either to avoid pain or it's to gain pleasure. So you can use that as leverage to drive yourself forward. Part 2 is accountability. If you're counting on yourself for accountability, I can already predict that you're not going to succeed at a massive level. So we need accountability. Whether it's an accountability partner, being part of a mastermind, or getting a one-on-one coach, we really need that. And then daily focus in our lives can make us more committed as well. So what are you doing on a daily basis to be more committed? So for me, there's 3 things I love doing on a daily basis. I look at my vision board every single day. I go through my morning power questions every single day. That gets me more committed. And then I read my declaration letter of what I want my life to look like ultimately. It's my ultimate vision for my life. So that's how you can be more committed. So the third part is coaching. Nobody has ever achieved anything great on their own. We all need coaches. There's 2 different ways you can get coaching. There's active coaching and passive coaching. So passive coaching could be reading a book. It could be listening to a podcast. It could be watching a training video, right? You're getting coaching through that, but it's passive. And active coaching is really the best coaching in my mind. It's joining a mastermind. It's getting group coaching, or the ultimate to me is one-on-one coaching. Because the bigger your vision, the bigger your goals, the higher level of coaching you're going to need to get there. You know, if you want to become a millionaire, you're not going to get there just by reading a book, most likely. You need a higher level of coaching, right? And then the fourth step is courageous action. So if you have a big vision, you have a big goal in your life, you're going to need to take courageous action at some point, not just regular action. So this is where the rubber meets the road, right? So courage, by the way, doesn't mean that you're not scared. It means that you're scared, but you do it anyway. And so if you find yourself stuck here where you're like, man, there's some courageous action I know I need to take to go to the next level, but I'm not doing it, I'm putting it off, you need to go back to steps 1 through 3, and there's probably something missing there. So you might not be clear enough on what you want, you're not committed enough to it, or you don't have a high enough level of coaching to get there. And then the last step number 5, is course correction. So this is the step that I see that messes people up the most sometimes, because they do steps 1 through 4. They did everything right, and it didn't work out the way they wanted to. They feel like they failed. They're like, oh, it must be something wrong with me. I did everything right, and it still didn't work. But we have to remember that the first time we do anything, the first couple times, it's never going to be perfect. In fact, usually it's going to be a massive failure. So an analogy that I love to use with my clients is that it's like teaching a baby to walk. The first time a baby stands up and tries to walk, what happens? They fall down. The second time, they fall down. The third time, they do it over and over and over again, and they keep falling down, but eventually they get it. And, you know, as parents, if you're trying to teach your kid how to walk, how many times would you give them before you just said, oh, you know what, you're just not going to be a walker, you know, we're just going to give up on you. You're not going to be a walker, right? No, of course, you're going to let them keep trying until they walk, right? So if we have that attitude in our lives and our businesses towards our goals, then it's not a matter of if we're going to achieve the goal, it's just a matter of when.